Welcome back. Now we're continuing to work on this level, and in the last video you may have noticed that when we allowed the enemies to kill the character, the enemies continued to attack even when the character was dead, and we can prevent that easily by going into the enemy behavior tree for this attack branch and adding another decorator. So let's go ahead and right click and add a decorator, use Blackboard, and for this one we're going to check to see if the character is dead. So let's call this is character dead, and we're going to check to see the Blackboard key character dead and see if that is not set. If it's not set, then we can continue. Now we're going to go ahead and just like our other decorators, we're going to use on result change and self. So we're going to change observer aborts to self, save that. And another thing we need to do is set the character's health to a lower value because as it stands, this is a little bit too easy. So we're going to go to the character folder, double click shooter character BP, and go to health. And instead of 100, let's start the character off at, say, something like 60. Well, that might be too hard. Let's do 80 and 80 for max health. Compile and save that. So we can make sure that the enemy does not actually attack when the character is dead, and we can do that by creating a Boolean on the character class for when it's dead. So here in the character class in shooterCharacter.h, we're going to add a private variable. And this is going to be a Boolean called beDead, and we're going to give it a U property and make it visible anywhere. Blueprint, read only, category combat, meta allow private access, and we'll just give it a quick comment and say true when character dies. And we'll give it a default value of false up in the character's constructor like so, and we simply need to set this to true when the character dies. So let's go to the die function. And here in die, we're going to set beDead to true. Now let's go ahead and compile this. Okay, so we've compiled. Let's go back into the editor. And what we're going to do is go into our enemy controller folder and get our BTT attack. This is our custom attack task. And we want to only play the attack montage if the character is not dead. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the owner controller here, and from this owner controller we're going to cast to enemy controller BP, and I can right click and convert this to a pure cast so that way it won't have an input execution pin. And as enemy controller we can use get Blackboard value as object. And for this, we need to provide a key name. I'm going to right click and promote this to a variable, and I'm going to call this key name target key name. And I'm going to hit compile so I can give this a default value in the details panel, and I'm going to use target. So that way we're getting the Blackboard value as object for the Blackboard key called target. And for this return value, we're going to cast it to shooter character BP, and that way we can get the value of that dead Boolean. It's called beDead. So we're going to drag off of this and type get dead, and this way we can get our dead Boolean. And I'm going to go ahead and place a branch here using dead as the condition. And if dead is true, then we don't want to play the attack montage. We're just going to do the finish execute. And for false, we are going to play the attack montage. Now this will prevent us from attacking if the character has died. So go ahead and compile and save, and we can test this out. So let's go ahead and hit play and allow the enemies to kill the player. So let's get several enemies aggroed. And once they all kill the player, let's see if they continue to attack past death. And of course they don't, because that beDead variable is now true. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and wrap this video up. In the next video, we're going to add some more items to this level and continue adding enemies even past the arches into the courtyard, and perhaps a final, more powerful enemy at the end so that we can have a sort of little mini boss fight. I'll see you in the next video.